Good evening, folk. Welcome back to another Chart Nerd TA video. Today we're going to be doing some technical analysis on Polkadot. I think this coin is very, very undervalued at the moment, and it's one of the gems I'm going to be keeping an eye on, and especially some of its parachains and their ecosystems that are growing hugely, the likes of GLMR, and many more. There's many more parachains involved, but yeah, these are the two that I focus on primarily. So I do look at GLMR and have done previous videos on that as well, but today we're solely going to focus on the motherboard here, the Polkadot ecosystem, and look at some of the charts here and some of the movements moving forward. So you can see here that from these massive peaks up here where you had this double top for Polkadot up in 2021 here in November. Since then, you've had this really, really large correction. You can see the Polkadot's been pretty battered. But there's a key area of level of support and resistance that I want us to keep an eye on right now. And it's this sort of zone here for Polkadot moving forward. So between around $9.15 and $10.50, you can see here that's around a 10 to 12% gap in range. But you do have these candle closes here, okay, where you came up and you came back for support and then melted out. At this point, you had the impulsive wave, you had the correction back down to the upper trend line of this box, okay, the upper trend of the box here, and you had another impulsive move. You put in a high, okay, but you created irregular divergences in certain indicators, okay, and came back down, and you lost this level of support. And at this point, you lost the support, came back into it as resistance on the lower band, okay, and this is where you started to come back, and sort of it was just really harsh for Polkadot in those sort of stages. But you can see that we have come back to a level of support here, and Polkadot has bounced off of $4.20 and currently sits around about 60% off of those lows, so not completely massive gains compared to other projects. Okay, it has been moving relatively slow and a bit laggy to be honest, but nonetheless I think it has great technology and it's got a great future ahead of it, and its parachains, its ecosystems within those as well are growing day in and day out. Okay, I follow a lot of them on Twitter and I'm keeping an eye on them closely. One particularly that I'm keeping an eye on is GLMR and Moonbeam, and I have done a lot of videos on those charts as well, so do go check those out on my channel too. But anyways, moving forward here, you can see that we have this level of support for DOT on this is the weekly time frame, and I do believe that potentially if we can continue to bounce off of this support, okay, so you had this low, you've come up, you've run into a level of resistance right here for DOT, okay, and then you've come back for a low here, okay, so you've come back for a higher low. So you've got higher lows, and you've got this local high up here at around $7.90, $8. The Polkadot needs to sort of come and tackle out, okay, and if we do start to get above that $8 mark, I do think the next level of resistance will be coming up to this previous level of support for Polkadot that we've now turned into resistance. Okay, so I said previously before, you broke out, came back for support, impulsive wave, came back for a larger wave of support, put in a new higher wave, okay, a new impulsive wave, took out this top, but you would have created irregular divergences, bearish divergences, and from this point you had this large sort of bear market and drawdown where you lost key support and you turn that into resistance, okay, and we're yet to come back up and test this resistance. The last time we actually tested this key area of resistance, this red box here, was back in August 2022. So right now I do think from this low you're sort of trying to work your way up here back to this red box zone, and I think that from current price, you know, if we do start to hold these lows, because it is good price action what we're seeing from this low, okay, because you've come up, you've got a high, you've come back for a higher low. Right now what we need to see is this local high taken out. If you see that taken out, then I think you'll magnetize this zone, okay, of previous resistance and support for DOT. Okay, so I do see us getting back towards that $9.20 towards $10 zone, and potentially it could offer a good long op if we do start to break out. Okay, so trade on confirmation, tackling out this local high here at around $8. If you start to see the breakout of around $8, I'd look for about a 30 to 40% move, high 40% move on Polkadot. And again, of which I do think that behind that, a lot of the parachains may follow through as more inflow does come into the project. Now, again, something to keep an eye on here for us are EMAs. So you can see at the moment we are still currently holding this 20-week EMA. Okay, we've had sort of multiple closes around it. We've not really decided what we want to do, but we have had a good reaction this week, and if we can see this continuation again, retracing to this $8 local high here that we put in February, if we can see the retracement to that off of this low and even come back to this white trend line, okay, for a third point of contact, okay, if we do start to sort of bounce around and come back here for a higher level of support, I do think you're just charging up the batteries to retain this area here, okay, at around $10. So what we need to see for confirmation is this white trend line sort of come up and hold a support here and start to tackle out of $8, because if you do, you can see you're forming some sort of ascending triangle, okay, over a period of time you will have a breakout target, and we can get a rough estimate of that. So from that $8 range, we can sort of say from that neckline down to the level of support here for this low. Once you do start to break out, I think Polkadot's in a technical target back up to this sort of range of previous support, where he came down for support, ran into the 55, lost that support, and since then you haven't actually back tested this previous area of support as resistance yet. So I do think potentially that is where the technical target of this ascending triangle would tie up to. We would be coming back up to around $14 and retesting this previous area of support that we haven't back tested as resistance. So we could see Polkadot literally start to explode here, albeit that we break out of this ascending triangle, back test it as support, and look for continuation back up to this sort of area, that the $14 area that we haven't retested for a very, very long time. Okay, but above us we do have strong key resistance, okay, this resistance here of the previous support, okay, and that sits at around $10. Okay, key resistance got rejected. Right now we're sort of trying to work our way up towards that $10 area. Okay, and I said if you do break out of this ascending triangle, you do have a technical target which is above that. Okay, so look for the breakout, the confirmation of hold of support, and we can look to go further for Polkadot here. Bearish scenario for me would be if you start to see Polkadot come up to this $8, okay, and potentially up to this 55 EMA and actually get rejected and start to come down and lose this 20-week EMA which we're holding currently. Okay, so this yellow 20 EMA right here, this yellow line, if we start to see closes below that, okay, and we start to fall below it and hitting your heads on it, I do think you're looking to start retracing back down to these lows where Polkadot came from. But right now, again, the trend is your friend. You are starting to come up, create higher lows here. As long as you can come up and tackle this $8 and retain this $10 area, okay, back above this weekly 55, then I think Polkadot's got a good chance of some potential gains here, and is a little bit lackluster and lagging behind other alts and wants to play catch up. And what you could see here at the same time is it's a little bit vague, but you've got this sort of left shoulder ahead. If you could start to come up here, form this right shoulder over time, then you've got a larger sort of inverse head and shoulders pattern that's building up over time, and you could break out and have a technical target. Again, it's all a thought experiment, guys, but if we was to break out, you could see that you'd be going back up towards those $20 ranges there. But again, thought experiment, just a little bit of a play around there. But I hope you enjoyed the content today. Key areas of support to look for are this trend line right now. So the level of support, if we do start to come back, what you want to see hold is this white trend line. Okay, so if we do start to get rejected, you want to see this trend line hold, because if you start to lose that indicates you're losing momentum. We're going to start retracing back to lower lows, okay, on the weekly time frame. So we want to see this white trend line hold over time, a continuous ascending level of support working towards that $10 range. Okay, so do look out for that, and I'll keep you updated on further videos. But right now, what we need to see is this $8 taken out. If we do start to take that out, we're forming a beautiful ascending triangle, giving us confirmation that we're looking to retrace back up to this previous area of support and resistance from 2021 that we only last previously retested back in August 2022. So I hope you enjoyed the video today, guys. If you did, please do like, comment, and subscribe. From Chartner TA, take care, peace out.